All right, what's up guys, it's KOSDFF here, and today we're going to be doing another rant video about a topic, or rather about a concept that I've debated making a video about for a really long time. But have decided to really wait till now to do it for multiple reasons. A lot of the same reasons I gave for, why I waited so long to start making rant videos all the time, and it's kind of like giving my general opinion and ranting. Really, I wanted to wait a while because I was afraid that this video would be perceived a certain way and the message wouldn't be delivered simply because of its proximity to the events that, are obviously going to be talked about in this video. And that's it. I'm going to do a video about like our struggle story, like what TK has gone through to become the brand it is. And I'm sure this is a story that anyone else who started their own company, or actually pretty much just anyone that's ever gone into the working world or any of that kind of stuff can relate to. And I feel like what the fuck are you doing? I feel like that a lot of what I'm about to talk about, one, isn't known by you guys specifically. I have obviously talked about almost all of this on Twitter before, especially right as it happened and things like that, but largely never made a video about it simply because what I spoke about in the very beginning of this video is just that I'm going to be talking about events where TK got screwed. Then obviously that can have a negative, I guess, appeal or a negative image over the people that did the screwing, but a lot of it has to do with just the growth of Call of Duty esports, the growth of esports, the growth of this entire industry. Do I have teammates? I'm getting shot a lot. And hopefully it wasn't done with any malicious intent, but no, for the sake of, comedy, I just wanted to go. I love no-scoping people in that hallway. It's so dirty. If you actually hear the list, and it's not the point of the video, if you hear the list of the stuff that has happened to Team Kaliber, all really close together, you might find it pretty funny because we've gone through some shit. Some things that, that whole Murphy's Law thing, if it can't happen, it will. That you should plan for everything. Of course, nobody does that because then you'd, foresee everything and you'd be enlightened. But like I said earlier, just like anybody else who started their own company or has just gone out into the working world, yeah, we've had to swallow our fair share of shit. And that's really what I wanted, the overall, I guess, concept of the video to be, is that success is more than winning. Success is more than always being right. Success is more than always getting the promotion. Success is more than being better than your peers sometimes. Now, obviously, all those things really, really help success. I'm not going to downplay the role of winning, but the lesser told story is about the amount of shit you have to swallow, the amount of times you're gonna get screwed, and to get to the important part, what you do afterwards, because what you do afterwards is almost more important than the event that happened to you, especially if you're the only one that cares about what's happened to you, which is largely what this video is about. There's a lot of things happened to Team Kaliber, and our woes largely fell upon deaf ears, and most of the time simply because there was nothing that could be done. But I wanted to do a video kind of to tell you guys, what we've gone through, because I feel like a lot of you, especially on this YouTube channel, know a lot about our content creators, our GFuel house, but probably don't know a lot about our esports endeavors, especially early on before I had a channel. By the way, when we started Team Kaliber, I had like 10K, and no one made vlogs or these kinds of videos, and if we did, it would go on our team channel, which definitely didn't get as many views as our individual channels. And then some of you might actually that are longtime supporters of TK because you support all of us, even if they're a noob team member or they're in an esport, or you watch Chaos's videos. I mean, what's so great about this team, especially our fan base, actually not even our team, I can't even actually explain this, it's just attributed somehow to you guys. You collectively show us so much support, even if you found out about us from a completely different reason. Like, I don't know how many of you found out about us from one of our YouTubers or one of our esports teams and then ended up supporting the other, the esports team or the content creator or our team in Totem. It's just fucking amazing. I'm just gonna kind of right now, just gonna go through like a list of all the times TK just had the fucking short end of the stick and just got fucking screwed, and there's nothing we can. What? I just threw a grenade with my knee. The first time this really happened, now I'm sure my pro player is gonna watch this video and I'm gonna leave out so many times that we got just screwed somehow, but and my memory is just a tad bit shady about all these events. This is these things happened over the course of 4 years. There was a time in Call of Duty where there was an event every single month. The first time I remember it happening, we were playing against Optic. I want to say it was in Ghosts, and Proofy's controller came unplugged. Now, I don't know, exactly how this would be handled nowadays, but I think, the player would just plug it back in and just have to suffer the consequences. I don't know how his controller got unplugged. I'm not saying he did it. Of course, no one's gonna unplug their own fucking controller in a game, so save that fucking joke. Somehow his controller got unplugged. And what the refs, actually, the casters decided to do about it was to stop the map, restart it from a certain time, and actually give them points because somehow they convinced the refs that had Proofy's controller not gotten unplugged, that they would have gotten an extra like 3 or 4 points. I don't actually remember the real number. This is another one of those things that pro players would probably roast me about. But no, they awarded them some points and restarted the map, obviously, so that he could play with his controller plugged in. And that actually costed us the map. We ended up losing by that amount of points. Again, nothing really you can do about it. It happened live. The decision was told to us. We were not a part of the process. Or not weighed in on that, what decision was being made. If I remember correctly, we had no idea why the game had been stopped. But that was the first time, but it was not the last time. Now, the next time, we just got royally screwed. I believe it was an AW. I don't remember the player or the team we were playing against. We were playing Uplink. Really, dude? I don't remember what team and even what event it happened at, but we were playing Uplink, and a player had the ball, was running towards the goal, and then jumped into the goal and only got 1 point, not 2. If you guys know in Uplink, if you didn't know in Uplink, if you jump into the goal, you get 2 points. If you throw it in, you get 1. But right after that happened, I want to say it was like during the half or something like that, both the casters, who were bewildered by what they just saw, and the player made up a glitch. Mid-tournament, without any prior history or Activision's approval or any of that kind of stuff, just decided during a competitive match that was being live broadcasted that a glitch that had never been discovered before or never seen online or in pro scrims or anywhere before, that existed, and that's must have what happened. And after they decided this, the casters came into the booth and told the players that they were going to be adding points to the other team because of a glitch. Again, we didn't have any say in this process or was told there was being a decision made. We just figured that he got 1 point, that he probably got shot and the ball fell in, or he just, he threw it or something like that. Something must have happened because there's no way that, this glitch that had never existed before all of a sudden now exists. But no, they got the point, and then they ended up winning that map. And I think the series eventually by that point. They won by 1 point. Later, Activision went on to officially state that there was no such thing, there was no glitch, that this was not a thing. But no, totally screwed there. It happens. So obviously, there's growing pains. There's things that, the tournament hosters had to learn. There was things that Activision had to learn. There was things that our teams had to learn. If I could go back, I might have jumped out of the stands and ran into the discussion with the casters to put my 2 cents in. This was innocent little cumduff that just started a team. It was just a little random trying to run, a growing esports organization without a history in esports or YouTube or social media. I came pretty much straight from school into this. But the next one I'm going to talk about was an event that happened at the very beginning of Black Ops 3. I think it was the first event for Black Ops 3. It was called the Totino's Invitational. You guys didn't know before in Call of Duty esports, they have a ban list and they pretty much just took out everything that all the pro players and the game devs agreed that weren't competitive enough to be in esports. Things like, claymores and trip mines. Well, in Black Ops 3, they have, the ban and protect system, and they wanted to rely solely upon that. It's actually a really cool system, but of course, anytime anything starts, there's some flaws in it. So largely the players, all right, sorry, that Mike Nasty Jr. guy started saying some hella cancerous shit, and because it was the final kill cam, I couldn't mute him, so I just skipped to this. But of course, just like anything that's just starting out, and just, Call of Duty, if you didn't know, makes a new game every single year. And it's something I'm actually really proud of our little community for the longest time. All the pro players, like all of them, AMs and pros, all would agree before a match what not to use in the game so that it would be more competitive. And these agreements were never breached. Never breached for like the whole entire time that all these pro players relied upon them to make the game competitive and not have to play with non-competitive things. All adhered to the agreements. Now, obviously, this isn't something needed now because Call of Duty has gotten amazing at working with pro players, and they've developed a lot of different ways to create ban lists and get feedback, and they've also really developed their ban and protect system and all that stuff. But not too long ago, all the pro players just had to agree not to use claymores and stick mines and other random stuff that they just deemed completely uncompetitive. Now, I say these agreements were never violated. Well, they were violated once. Now, this topic got brought up recently on Twitter, and I realized the people that it involves really dislike it being brought up. So I'm going to try to, as much as I can, not give away the identity of the people I'm talking about. Now, if you want to be a nerd and go research stuff and go find out what I'm talking about, I can't stop you. But again, the purpose of this video is not to throw shade, but really just to highlight our struggle story and to tell you guys all the things that we had to kind of semi-silently just work our way through, or just accept, or just eat crow. Well, yeah, in one of our matches, we had made an agreement not to use rapid fire. And 7 out of the 8 players involved in this agreement adhered to it and didn't make a class with rapid fire. But one player who we were playing hardpoint got completely spit on, secretly had a class with rapid fire on it, switched to it on the half, proceeded to drop 20. They proceeded to win the game, and then for the series. I believe you guys all know Dylan. Dylan, you know, being a pretty calm character for the most part. Whenever he gets angry, it's actually pretty funny. He shakes and he gets all teary-eyed. You can just tell he's not used to being that angry. That's the angriest I've ever seen that man, and every single time it gets brought up ever in any kind of discussion, most of the time in a joking manner. God damn it. He still gets dumb heated and just extremely salty and really mad. But no, this is another time that, you know, we really feel like we were slated to do really well at the event. We, of course, lost that series, thus knocking us out of the event. And, you know, I think the players were, you know, not necessarily so pissed because he had rapid fire. It was more so that because they didn't have rapid fire because, you know, obviously it was banned. They didn't make any classes with it. They couldn't counter it. It puts them at a huge disadvantage. Again, I don't know if this was done maliciously. They say it wasn't. Saying that the pro player didn't know what attachments he had. But no, that was just another time we got, you know, royally screwed. But yeah, and I'm gonna segue into the mother load. The screwings of all screwings. The time where the universe decided to hand us the largest fucking L, Team Kaliber, our organization, and everyone attached to it has ever had to hold. We're still, to clarify how large of an L this was, still trying to claw our way out of the massive crater that this L left us standing in. It was world ending. To be honest, this L that we had to hold, or, you know, actually just, you know, what had happened, the results of this L that we had to hold has killed most orgs that it's happened to, because it largely takes you out of the limelight. And I think a lot of you guys actually know about this because this was kind of big news, not just with Team Kaliber, but with everybody. As you guys know, we haven't been in the Call of Duty World League for quite some time, and it has to do with this series of events. As you guys know, we were due to attend a qualifier to play in the COD League. And Gunjar, one of our players in Black Ops 3, was held by American Customs and was denied access to the United States, putting us a man down, making it where we just stood fucking no chance whatsoever to qualify. And once that happened, you know, Sharp retired. Obviously because they're looking at 3 months without being, you know, playing pro COD. You know, I mean, there's no other way to put that. You're not playing in the big show. So Sharp retired and obviously is blowing up and killing it right now. He decided to pursue his content creating career. That was robbery. Sorry, bud. Neslo actually went to Echo Fox, where he still is now. He's been doing big things over there. I've been extremely proud of him. Still love my crazy little bastard. And then Gunjar, I believe, went to Complexity. So it left us with just Dylan, and, you know, not being in the World League, so it didn't have a team spot. It makes it really hard to attract pro players. And plus, you know, right after that, all the teams that hadn't made it all decided that they were going to stick with the teams they were on because, you know, they had all this time to, you know, to work up to try to get into the next qualifier for the next big event and for all the opens that were coming up. And it forced Team Kaliber to make a decision I'm still extremely proud of to this day. A decision that I got a lot of heat for. A lot of people talked a lot of shit about this decision. Reddit roasted me almost constantly. I don't even think I just missed the clatter. Still this day, I don't think I've lived down the negative aura that's been placed around TK and myself as a leader after making this decision. And that decision was I decided to keep Theory. Instead of building a whole new team, because I had plenty of offers from other already established teams that wanted to switch orgs, or groups of 2 players or 3 players that didn't want to play with Theory, that were 1000% better than the team that we ended up fielding. I'm sure you guys have heard this negative feedback about me, saying that, you know, we just care about YouTube and, you know, we recycle players, and that, you know, we're an esports org, but really we're a content team. We have an esports org, and, you know, we don't really care about it that much, and, you know, we really just do whatever. Now, I don't know if that's still around or if it really isn't even a thing, you know, outside of like comments on Twitter and just, you know, jokes in DMs and things like that. But the reason this happened was because we decided to keep Dylan on, to build the team around him, and to do it with AMs. Obviously, Exotic went on to be quite the fucking pro. Obviously, we saw a lot of talent in him. But we we decided to field a team of AMs to basically carry over Dylan. Kept him on his salary, even though he wasn't playing in the pro league, that he was largely just thrown into the amateur field with 3 amateur players. We'll call them up and coming pros. I feel like amateur is just a negative way of saying it. But no, we decided to build a team around him, and obviously we didn't do very well with this squad that we had put together. But again, it went back to our original, I guess, mission statement, is that team really does mean something different to me. I didn't really feel like team meant, the logo or our collective, I guess, company, so to speak, to have a separate entity. I really felt like team meant team. Is in a group of people dedicated to seeing each other succeed. And that if I made a decision to do that by taking one of those people out of the equation, by giving up on one of those people, by kicking someone and saying, hey, and just throwing them to the wolves at a time where it might have killed their career, I decided that I wasn't going to do that. Now, we didn't know at the time, obviously we were optimistic, but I basically decided that I was going to, for a while, kind of hand TK an L. And it took a lot of effort to, create value in Team Kaliber and to convince our sponsors to continue to believe in us and stuff like that. I hate all you people. Die. And so that the story has kind of a happy ending. I'm not to say it happened overnight, but we eventually built a squad of players that has seen some recent success in Call of Duty all around Dylan. So it took some time, but I believed in my homie. I believed he was a victim of circumstances, collateral, rather than a victim of his own inability to play at a pro level. They recently grinded up open bracket to place top 12 at the last event. This past weekend, they qualified for COD Champs in the last chance qualifiers. So TK's in the big show again. It's gonna be nice seeing my boys on a stage instead of open bracket. But despite all of that, I feel like, TK, if you were to if I had a bragging right, if I was to put my ego was to say one thing, it would be that we've done a lot more than most with a lot less than most. And I feel like, through all this struggle and through the poor placements of TK, largely since, Black Ops 2 and Ghost, we did really good in Ghost. And we did moderately well in AW too. We have some accomplishments that most other teams don't have, simply because X Games stopped sponsoring esports. But despite all of that, and what largely allowed us to make some of these decisions was a decision, again, I made very early on, and was that, team again meant more than just supporting a logo and seeing success, and changing members to make that happen. Obviously, we started a group and we've added some members, and some members have left us, and we've had to distance ourselves from others. But in large part, TK was meant here to support all members of Team Kaliber, whether there were graphic designers or content creators or streamers. We were one of the first teams to take an esports house and bring content creators in. And vloggers in, to build a brand that was more than just an esports team. My plans for Team Kaliber are long and extremely hungry. I do feel like esports is gonna just be a leg of our empire. Our dreams there are to be a player on a scale much larger than that. So of course the goal is world domination, to build an empire that spans the universe. But what's different really, and the reason why I wanted to tell you guys this story and kind of highlight some of the things that have happened to us, mainly being our struggles. One, because it makes for an interesting video, and two, is to show you guys that that there's more than one way to do it. Right now esports is growing. It's in an era of money. Right now, if you wanted to start an esports organization, you wanted my advice, my real advice, like actual professional advice, I'd tell you to go get money, and then after that, get more money. Then as soon as you think you have enough, go double that and get more. Because that's all it really takes to start an esports organization right now, is you can hire the ad agencies, you can pick up all the teams, you can hire the content creators, and you can basically just wait on sponsors and things like that. No, TK is entirely self-sufficient. It is owned entirely by myself without any outside investment, and it's been completely funded by sponsors. It owes me nothing, by the way. I haven't invested in Team Kaliber monetarily. Now, obviously, I invest an extreme amount of time in Team Kaliber, and in Team Kaliber in no way can afford me. So in that way, I've invested a lot. But no, everything it's done has been on its own shoulders. So what was the point of this video? Because obviously, we're getting to the point where this is just becoming too long. To create what film directors would call a bookend ending, I'll refer back to what I said originally. One way to measure success, other than wins and successes and all the great things that happen when things are going to plan and going well and going the way you want them to. It's not measured by how many terrible things happen to you. It's measured by how many terrible things happen to you and how you responded afterwards. Whether you let it destroy you and defeat you and turn you into a whiny little bitch, or you let it build you, or you learn from it, you let it become a teacher, you learn from your mistakes and you go forward, or you just shove that shit way down in your stomach and let it build character. Because trust me, I don't know if people see it, but we definitely operate Team Kaliber in a way that I'm comfortable with its character. This company has a conscience, and it's its driving force. And you know, I could tell you stories. Now, I actually had set on to tell a story that was a lot more shade throwing than the one I threw. I've had a player that was on my team conspire with another organization to join their org, to basically screw me out of a buyout by saying that team wouldn't pick him up unless he could get him without a buyout, that they weren't going to pay it, that it was too much. By the way, the buyout was like nothing. It was like a couple $1,000s. He basically came to me in tears, you know, begging me to let him go so that he could have a future and join the team, because obviously he wasn't going to be on our team. And you know, we weren't just going to bench him and hold him there. We wanted him to find another team, and the only way he could is if I released him without a buyout. You know, and TK's done pretty well, so I'm not going to sit there and deny a player that I care about a future over a couple $1,000. But can I say I wasn't salty a week later when I found out the team that did that to me is one of the richest teams in esports? No, I can't say that. And I could go on and make an entire video about things like that. And I've had both experiences. It's not always been like that. I will say that I love FaZe Temper for more reasons than, you know, the fact that he's a beautiful human being. That's another person that I've seen operate his organization with some class and some character. And I tip my hat to you, sir. But no, the large point is to not let these things defeat you, and that you can actually use them and learn from them, and not in a way that, you know, a movie would tell you, or some fucking TV special or Hallmark card or some fucking cheesy quote on a pillow. Sometimes it teaches you that Call of Duty esports, or esports in general, and your popularity, if it's attached to it, depends on how well your team does, and if you're in the limelight, and that, you know, not being in a Call of Duty World League could make you entirely irrelevant and could kill your organization, could kill 3 or 4 years of your hard work simply because you're just not there, you're not in the show. How do you remain popular? Well, I did it by investing in people that most organizations, you know, historically, not know so much now, have just ignored. You know, they're content creators. Maybe it was time to give them a shot to live in a team house and create content. And then maybe you should spend a lot of time picking the right people, you know, so that when it comes around to that kind of situation, those people that are, you know, assumed the burden still place the team on their shoulders and put them at the front of their organization, and somehow get them all to ignore their own egos. We're all human. We all get pissed when shitty stuff happens to us. We all want to make shitty YouTube videos and flail out and call everybody out and start a bunch of drama when we get screwed. We all want our due compensation and all the respect that we deserve when we do something fucking awesome. And that maybe instead of doing what everyone else is doing, maybe decide to invest in people in an unsafe way, meaning, you know, give them everything and hope, you know, they'll pay back. Maybe that'll build more loyalty than a paycheck. Maybe the future of esports organizations are more than esports teams. Maybe the future of them is to become gaming organizations. Maybe the future of Team Kaliber is less a group of teams that compete and more of a network. Maybe gaming is so huge and such a large force in entertainment and media that there's room for everything, and that if you find the right people and you do it the right way, the hard way, the long way, the way that encompasses a bunch of L's, the way that requires you to wait years for the right time to take a risk, not just to take risks because they're there and just gamble all the time. Maybe surviving long enough so that your supporters can start to care for you and develop a relationship with the people that are members of your team over constantly handing them trophies might be a way to go. Now, obviously, I'm just kind of ranting on at this point just because I'm in that mode. But no, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys understand a little bit more about TK, maybe a little bit more about what we're about. Because of course you could have the same one-line response to anybody if you were to look at us on paper. But maybe hearing a little bit more of the reasoning that went behind some of our decisions and what we're planning to do and how we want to do it might shed a little bit of light. Also let you know that if you're in a period or in a time where you're not necessarily winning and getting all the W's, and maybe you're holding some L's, maybe that's the calm before the storm of your success. Maybe how you use it and what you do afterwards and what you learn from it is going to be the difference between whether you make it or not. Because there's plenty of people that get a lot of W's and all of a sudden one L destroys them. Well, I can proudly say we've had plenty of L's and it didn't kill us. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please leave a like if you did. Please leave me a comment with a rant topic that you guys want to see me talk about. I'm sorry you had to watch me play Beach Bog for forever again, but like I go play other maps when I try to do these live comms, and it screws me up because I don't know the maps and there's just not constant engagement. Pretty much the only way I can get even an entertaining gameplay from you guys is either to kill a lot or die a lot. And if I'm just running around looking for people the whole time, that would just be destroyingly boring. But yeah, I hope you guys can forgive me. Please leave a like. Please share this video. I really am passionate about this. This is something I've wanted to do for a while. Now, I know I really actually probably should have done it in like a classic rant where I just went and got Dylan to get me some gameplay and spent some time, you know, talking and developing the points I was trying to make. But nah, I'm dedicated to this live comm format. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys tomorrow. Actually, I want to make one more point because it's something that we've never said. It's never hit Twitter. No one knows about it. And it has to do with our leader of our pro team, Dylan Theory TK. Back when we didn't qualify for the league and we basically decided to continue to support Dylan, and we built an amateur team around him so he could go to events and wouldn't, you know, completely fall off of playing Call of Duty. During this time, of his own initiative, without me having to say anything, he actually went out there and brokered and tried to find a replacement team for Team Kaliber that was going to be in the league. And now, if you think about that for a second and let it resonate, basically he went out there to find his replacement. And when he went and told me about this offer, because this was a real thing, we almost picked up Chino's DT team, if you really actually want to know, for a good deal too, not even that much money. When Dylan went and told me this, you know, I couldn't help but stare at him right in the face and be like, you know, if we take this offer, you're off the team. You know, we can't have two teams. You know, that's a thing. That's a rule nowadays. You know, back when Optic had two teams, I think FaZe had two teams, Curse had two teams. Obviously, this is no longer a thing, and you can't do that anymore. And when I said this to him, he goes, "Yeah, but it's what's best for TK." That's the captain of our Call of Duty Pro team. That's the kind of team, that's the kind of players, that's the kind of members. Every single one of the members of Team Kaliber would make probably a similar decision. I don't actually know. Not a lot of them have been put to that point. I hope they never do. But Dylan did. And when he was at his absolute lowest point in his career ever, he thought about his team, and that's why I will never regret that decision, regardless of what happens. Say what you want about us and all our decisions, but that's what I'm damn proud of.